Some frozen breakfasts are delicious, while others are so unhealthy you should run away from them as fast as you can. How can you keep them all straight? That's where we come in. Keep watching for the 6 best and 6 worst frozen breakfast foods available on store shelves. Daily Harvest is a food delivery service that offers pre-made meals that you can grab on the go. For those who want to cut down on time in the kitchen and have some money to spare, Daily Harvest is definitely worth a try, especially if you love healthy, filling breakfast foods that will get your day off to an amazing start.
We're not saying Daily Harvest will change your life, but we're pretty sure it can make some things easier.
We definitely recommend Daily Harvest's Apple and Cinnamon Oat Bowl, which tastes like a pie in a cup. This offering boasts oats, walnuts, apples, and pumpkin seeds, which provide just enough fat and the perfect amount of sweetness. And the best part is that you don't even have to go to the store to get it. Instead, it can be delivered right to your doorstep. It couldn't be easier or more delicious than that. We've probably all had an Eggo waffle at some point in our lives. Those frostbitten waffle pucks aren't exactly the greatest food in the world, but when you're in a hurry and you have nothing else to eat for breakfast, it doesn't hurt to pop a couple in the toaster. But there are certain Eggo flavors that you should absolutely avoid, especially the Nutri-Grain whole grain waffles. Despite the name, these things aren't actually all that healthy, as they're loaded with carbs and calories with very little in the way of nutrition to get your day off to a good start. And that's not even the worst part, as they don't taste very good either. Instead of the nice fluffy Eggo from your childhood that you're used to, this supposedly healthier version tastes dry and lifeless. It's practically like biting into cardboard. Sure, you could drown it in butter and maple syrup and somehow manage to choke it down, but why would you when there are so many more delicious items on this list? It's not every day that you get to try a frozen breakfast item that actually tastes unique, but that's exactly what you'll be getting with an Evol egg and chili burrito. Far too many breakfast sandwiches are lacking when it comes to spice, but with the inclusion of hatch green chilies in this burrito, you're getting something that actually has some zing to it. If you have a weak stomach in the morning, then this may not be the right choice for you, but for the rest of us, it may just be the perfect kick to start off the day. It's also even vegetarian friendly. If you're really on the go, you can easily pop this bad boy into the microwave for some quick cooking. Although if you have the time, you should really heat it up in the oven or on the stovetop. If you keep these in the house, they may go fast, so make sure to pick up a few the next time you're at the store. It may be tempting to pick up a package of Kellogg's Special K Flatbread Sandwich Sausage, Egg, and Cheese whenever you head to the frozen section, but you might want to reconsider. Admittedly, the taste is actually decent, and this is probably something you wouldn't mind taking a bite out of on your way to work. But if you think you're getting a healthy breakfast by opting for a flatbread, you better think again. These breakfast sandwiches are absolutely brimming with salt, to the tune of 700 milligrams of sodium per sandwich. That's not exactly the best way to start your day. It's also relatively high in calories and fat. Not to mention, it contains a long list of ingredients you'll never be able to pronounce without an advanced degree. If you love this sandwich but want a healthier version, you can always make something similar yourself ahead of time and put it in the freezer so that it's ready to go when you are. If you're into health-conscious foods that taste as good as they make you feel, you should give Sweet Earth products a try. One of their best offerings is the Baja breakfast burrito. Its tortilla stays intact when you heat it up in the microwave, and it also just tastes really good. With a mixture of cage-free egg, vegan bacon, chipotle seitan, cheese, pinto beans, and chili, you really can't go wrong with this burrito. And since it's packed with veggie protein, we'd like to think that it's healthier than a lot of other options out there. Since this burrito doesn't get especially mushy when you heat it up, it's a perfect snack to take on the go when you're headed out the door in a rush. Just because your alarm went off late or you hit the snooze button a couple of extra times doesn't mean you have to skip out on a good breakfast. Walmart isn't the most luxurious grocery brand out there, but some of its offerings are actually decent, especially when you're picking up staples and want to save some money. But if you're thinking about buying some frozen breakfast foods from Walmart, you should make sure to skip the great value French toast sticks. We can't emphasize enough how over-the-top sweet these things are. Kids might like them, but the vast majority of adults are liable to get a toothache after taking one bite. That makes sense when you look at the calorie count. Several comparable brands offer basically the same product, but with 50 fewer calories. Ultimately, you should save the French toast for when you actually have time to sit down and make it from scratch, or at least get it from a restaurant that knows what it's doing. Walmart's French toast sticks, on the other hand, are likely to leave you with a sugar crash right after you get to work, and that's the last thing you need when you're starting your day.
I see right here it says I shouldn't have given you sugar.
Hot Pockets aren't exactly known for being the healthiest brand, but sometimes they offer something that's irresistibly amazing, like their sausage, egg, and cheese variety. They definitely don't skimp on the protein with this selection. There's a ton of sausage packed inside these little sandwiches, so you don't have to go digging through the entire thing just to get to the good stuff. The eggs are also great, with none of that strange egg-like substance that doesn't even have a texture that's reminiscent of an actual egg. And the cheese is plentiful as well, though you should take care to make sure that it doesn't fall out onto your clothes. Here's a preparation suggestion courtesy of the kitchen. Instead of heating this breakfast up in the microwave, you're better off preparing it in the oven if you have the time to spare. That way, you'll end up with a super crispy crust that has none of the sogginess typical of microwave-prepared Hot Pocket.
Hot Pocket!
Having a bowl for breakfast may sound nice. It's a convenient way to combine all of your favorite breakfast foods into one dish, so you get a mix of flavors in every bite you take. But when it comes to practicality, the Bob Evans sausage and potatoes bowl just doesn't make the cut. The first problem is that it's especially hard to eat on the go. You'll have to balance the bowl on your lap or in your hands while you guide a fork to your mouth. That's not exactly what you want to be doing while sitting on the train or driving. This bowl also isn't very healthy, even though it's packed with protein. It contains 440 calories, which might not be too much for a whole meal, but when you consider how small the portion is, you'll be left wanting more. Furthermore, the sodium is off the charts at a whopping 1,470 milligrams per bowl. Simply put, when you have much better frozen options at your disposal, why would you resort to this bowl? A smoothie is a great choice for breakfast, although the preparation isn't all that fun. First, you have to wash and chop all your fruits and veggies, then into the blender they go, and you can't forget the cleanup. It's too much to take care of first thing in the morning when you're trying to get out the door on time. If you want a fresh, fruity breakfast without all the hassle, you can pick up a Thrive Energy ready-to-blend smoothie. It's just as easy as it sounds. It comes in a container you can use as a cup once your smoothie is finished. All you have to do is throw it into your blender, add a little liquid if you like, and blend. Pour it back into your cup, and you'll be on your way in no time. There are plenty of different varieties, so you can pick whichever ones sound best to you. If you're having a few per week, why not switch it up a little to keep it exciting? You may have loved Pillsbury apple toaster strudels when you were a kid, but let's be honest, this is not an ideal breakfast, as it requires you to squeeze out a packet of liquid sugar onto the tops of these fried delights. Furthermore, this product barely has any protein and fiber to help your day get off to a good start. You should expect nothing more than a ton of sugar and carbs that could weigh you down and make you feel heavy all day. And on top of that, the taste of these toaster strudels is just way too sweet. So much so that it almost leaves an unpleasant sugary coating in your mouth. If you're going to go for something indulgent in the morning, we'd suggest you just grab a donut instead. Sure, it's not very healthy either, but at least it'll be tastier than what Pillsbury's offering.
Sir?
I'll get it together, I promise.
Do you love starting your day with a good bagel? It's hard to deny how delicious they are. They may be absolutely full of carbs, but sometimes that's just what you want to kick off your day. When you consider all the bagel flavors out there and everything that you can put on a bagel, it's pretty hard to beat. If you're looking for a solid bagel option that can come along on a car ride without spilling crumbs everywhere, then you're probably going to fall in love with Bantam Bagels Stuffed Everything Bagels. This isn't your traditional bagel. For one thing, they already come with veggie cream cheese inside. That makes them easy to pop in the microwave and take on the go without any mess. Thus, you can actually feel safe eating them in the car, even if you're worried about your clothes getting covered in crumbs. In addition to being easy to grab in the morning, they're also downright delicious. What's not to love? You might assume that vegetarian foods are always healthier than their meat-heavy counterparts. Sometimes that is in fact true, especially considering that the vast majority of saturated fats come from animal products. But that doesn't automatically mean that all meatless products are healthy. Take, for example, MorningStar Farms sausage, egg, and cheese vegetarian breakfast sandwich. On the surface, it sounds like it could be healthy, but once you do some digging, you realize that's far from the truth. One of these sandwiches contains 200 calories, even though they're not particularly big. But the real shocker is the amount of sodium. We're talking 620 milligrams per sandwich. And that's not all. You'll also encounter food dyes and plenty of artificial products, which makes sense considering that you're not actually eating real sausage. If you're looking for a frozen vegetarian offering for breakfast, there are plenty of other products on this list that are sure to suit your fancy without taking such a hit on your health. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more mashed videos about foods to buy are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.